Who's everybody's favourite superhero? That's right, it's Batman. It's always Batman. I won't entertain anything else. It's always Batman. And with that in mind, earlier on this week we got the news that Ben Affleck wanted to stay on as the Caped Crusader, despite there being much noise to the contrary. However, at the moment this is just a rumour, and there is still the chance that Ben Affleck could leave the role.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It's not something that we want to happen, but if it did, then whoever steps into the role has big shoes to fill. Quite literally, he has size 13 feet. Hello everyone, and welcome to Radioactive Screen, and here are 10 actors that I think could play Batman. Number 10, Josh Hartnett. This is an interesting start to the list, because Josh Hartnett is actually one of the few actors out there that has actually turned down the role of Batman. He'd been offered the role for Batman Begins by Christopher Nolan back in 2005, but however, turned it down to spend more time with his friends and family. He's gone on record to state that he ultimately regretted the decision, and well, why wouldn't he? He literally turned down the role of Batman, and it is unlikely that we would actually see him in the role. That being said, however, he does have the look, and his role in Penny Dreadful does show that he has talent enough to play Bruce Wayne. Number 9, Armie Hammer. Armie Hammer is certainly someone who fits the look of a younger Bruce Wayne, despite now being the age of 31, and it's shown that he's got good range in films such as The Social Network and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. In 2007, Hammer was actually set to play the Caped Crusader in a Justice League film directed by George Miller, however it didn't quite pan out. Hammer has since gone on record to state that he was actually relieved that it didn't go ahead because he felt he was too young to play the role at the time. But could he eventually take up the mantle of Batman? Who knows? Number 8. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Now, Jeffrey Dean Morgan has actually already appeared in the DCEU as Bruce Wayne's father, Thomas Wayne, and it's rumoured that he's going to be reprising his role for a Flashpoint Paradox film. Now, this news certainly got the fans' attention, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan has even gone to state that he's done research around the role and knows how he would play the character. The film, however, has supposedly been cancelled, although I suppose it was never really officially confirmed, so who knows where we actually stand with it, but it does remain to be one of the more likely things to happen on this list. Number 7, Jon Hamm. Now, I haven't actually seen all of Mad Men. I watched the first couple of episodes and couldn't get into it, but if the 100,000 million people that have told me to keep watching it and get into it are anything to go by, then I probably should give it another go. But from what little I did see, yes, Jon Hamm can be Batman. At least, he can be Bruce Wayne. He's smooth, witty, and can be seriously sinister, which works perfectly for Batman. And he's demonstrated this before in other roles. For example, in Black Mirror's best episode, White Christmas. I mean, when that was finished, I needed a stiff drink. A really stiff drink. Number 6, Josh Brolin. Cable, Thanos, George W. Bush. Is there anything that this man cannot do? Answer, probably not. 2018 certainly has seemed to be the year of the Brolin, with the already well-established actor having his career hit new heights for his performances in Deadpool 2 and Avengers Infinity War. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Brolin could enter the role of Batman and do an exceptional job. He'd probably have to play an older, more grizzled Batman, perhaps in a proper live-action version of The Dark Knight Returns, not like that garbage that we got back in March of 2016. Number 5, Christian Bale.
Where's the trigger?
Now, this one might actually seem a bit of a cop-out because he has already donned the cowl 3 times before in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy. However, it has been rumoured that one day he may return to the role, which would probably send fans into an absolute frenzy because many believe that he is the best person who has played a live-action Batman to date. Me included. However, it is unlikely that this would happen, as Warner Brothers will probably want to go with a new face when Ben Affleck eventually leaves the role. But man, what an amazing comeback that would be.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Number 4, Michael C. Hall. Michael C. Hall has been heavily linked with the DC Universe over the past couple of years, but hasn't yet been cast. His performance as Dexter Morgan for 8 seasons almost perfectly mirrors that of the Dark Knight himself, minus the murdering people. Both characters have to deal with heavy loss and stick to a strict moral compass, so we know that Michael C. Hall has experience with this type of character. Now, I personally think he'd make a better Oliver Queen / Green Arrow, however, if he was to be cast as Batman, I certainly wouldn't be complaining. Number 3, Jensen Ackles. Jensen Ackles is probably most famous for his role as Dean Winchester in Supernatural and for making men everywhere look at themselves in the mirror and go, what is the point? But he's also another actor that's already appeared within the DC universe. He provided the voice of Red Hood in 2010's animated feature, Batman Under the Red Hood. However, he would make a brilliant Bruce Wayne / Batman, with his performances in Supernatural sometimes feeling like an audition for the role itself.
I'm Batman.
And I don't care what anyone says, the man has range. Number 2, Daniel Bruhl. Daniel Bruhl may not have the physique of Batman, but he certainly has the acting chops. Again, another actor who's played a similar character, this time in Marvel's Captain America Civil War. Bruhl is an exceptional actor that is adept at portraying loss and emotion, something that every actor needs to approach this role. And number 1, George Clooney. Just kidding, it's Jake Gyllenhaal. Odds-on favourite to replace Batfleck whenever he decides to leave the role, Gyllenhaal has cemented himself as one of the finest actors working today. We know that he has no qualms about bulking up for a role, as evidenced in Southpaw, and we know that he can play a great detective, as we saw in Prisoners, something that the fans have been crying out to see more of, as after all, he is the world's greatest detective. Gyllenhaal is such an adept and talented actor that he could probably slip into multiple roles in the DC universe, and there's one in particular that I think he would be perfect for. But that's a video for another day. And that's my list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. And please, don't forget to give the channel a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I don't know what is going on here.